It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy, what is it today? Thursday. My goodness, they all run together when you're an entrepreneur, I tell you. It's a live recording of the Beyond the Story podcast. I don't record every episode live, but every now and then I meet some very interesting individuals. Well, they're all interesting, but this individual really stuck out when I first connected with her. She is a public relations rock star. I connected with her through a mutual contact, Dan Kennedy. He fully endorsed her PR efforts. I had sent her a referral her way, initiating our relationship. And I said, hey, I'd love to get you on the show and tell your story. So without any further introductions, friends, please help me welcome to the show, Victoria Kennedy. What's up, rock star?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great. I know how to talk. I promise. I do it for a living.
It's early.
It is. So you and I first connected here on the internet. So the internet's work. It's this perpetual, ongoing networking event that never stops. Our paths crossed through mutual connection. Dan Kennedy is up to some great things in the info space. Had him on the show at some point last year. In fact, we just did an audio course for his new How to Think program that he's got going on. So that was fun. That's always good company to be in. But he fully endorsed your efforts. And an individual like myself, I'm a storyteller, I'm a content creator, I write books. I know that PR is the lifeblood of brands. However, not all of them take advantage of that. We're going to talk about what you got going on in the world of public relations, but I always like to back up and talk about how the story actually started. I saw a post from you the other day that said from nun to opera singer, to my own PR firm. So let's start there.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that intro. And I think it's a lot of people, they don't grow up thinking, I want to be an entrepreneur and start an agency or whatever it is, And so me, like a lot of people, had this other dream. And my dream was I wanted to be a nun. I wanted to devote my life to God. I know that's a strange dream, but that's what I wanted. I'm sort of one of those people where if I decide I'm going to do something, I do it 100%, And so I just went all in and I thought, well, if I want to go to heaven when I die, the quickest way is to be a nun, obviously, right? That didn't quite work out, but it taught me to always reinvent myself, so that's how I've been able to go from nun to opera singer to PR expert, because I understand the idea of always reinventing yourself, not being stuck in an identity. Not realizing well, this is who I've always been. No, any day you can wake up and decide and be somebody different. And that's sort of what I've done with my life.
So walk me through that. When did you wake up and go, you know what, this whole nun thing, I'm out?
Well, it wasn't The Sound of Music. It wasn't The Hills Are Alive with The Sound of Music, which I thought it was going to be. It's hard being a nun. It's very hard. And I just realized very quickly after a month in that this was not going to work for me,
Oh, gave it a month. Okay, cool. I probably wouldn't have made it a week. So then again, none anyhow, but
right.
A month. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful life. I just realized that it wasn't going to be for me. And so I came back home thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? That was my plan. That was till I die. That was my whole plan. What am I going to do? I've always loved to sing, and I thought, well, I'm going to be an opera singer because I love to sing and I'm just going to pursue that 100%. So I couldn't afford the university that I got into. I got into the University of Southern California, which is amazing. It's a private university. It's very expensive. Couldn't afford it. Thought, how in the world am I going to go to this university? I have to make it happen. Again, that just drive to succeed no matter what. If I've decided, it's going to happen no matter what. Well, I saw something on the paper that they were doing a local beauty pageant. And the scholarship money was $500 scholarship money, which could be up to $10,000 scholarship money if you kept on going with the pageant. So mind you, I was just fresh out of the convent, still, very modest, wearing dresses. But I'm like, well, I got to put on this bikini. I got to dance around in this bikini. Oh my gosh, let's do it. Let's do it. It was sort of a psychological of I'm uncomfortableness, of hiding your body for so long, but you just sort of do it. And I just did it. I thought, well, this is going to get me to where I want to be. So I'm going to put on the dang swimsuit and walk around. So and what I'd like to say is, don't give yourself the option to back out. Once you've decided this is what I'm going to do it. You know, once you start negotiating with yourself and saying, oh, well, you know, the swimsuit, that makes me feel uncomfortable and I don't know how I feel right now. Feelings have nothing to do with the decision. Take your feelings out of it. You've decided this, so do that. And that sort of is what really helped me reinvent myself and keep going towards my goals.
Yeah, once that monkey brain gets going, it's game over, because we get in our head and then we just start making shit up, and it's, you know, we go down this. So I would venture to say that maybe your journey just began in that convent, and God said, hold on a second here. Wait a second here. I got something real special here, and we're going to use this in other places. So I think that and it's clear that your passion and your desire to want to do great things is still alive and well.
Yes.
And as my faith would say as well. And, you know, God doesn't mess up. You know, it's part of this ultimate plan. I firmly believe that business is one of the most incredible platforms to live out your faith. I think it is.
I agree.
You're meeting so many different people and genres and locations, and just so many interesting conversations. So I've definitely made, and I commend what you've done so far. You just continue to lean into it, but also listen to that still small voice that says, hey, here's what's next. It can be better, and it's going to be. So the world of public relations. So we come out of a convent, an opera singer, and the whole school program, and then boom, public relations. Where was that? Where did that nudge come from?
Yeah, well, if anybody's listening to this and you're a performer or a musician in any way, you know, if you can't get people to show up to your shows or buy your music, you are singing for your supper, right? Not glamorous. And, you know, if you're struggling, if you can't fill those seats, if you can't get people to pay attention to your music. And so I realized very quickly, in order to survive, in order to not sing for my supper, you know, I got to get in good with these journalists. I need to understand how the media works so that people can buy my music and know about me. And so I just started doing it. I was on the cover of magazines. I had a #1 hit single in Europe. So I sang in castles and cathedrals all over Europe, and all because I just leveraged relationships. I just started making relationships with the right people. You know, it came more out of necessity, and then it became a knack that I became very good at, but I didn't realize it was my superpower, not until later. And I think that's with a lot of people. Maybe you've done a job your whole life and now you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking, how do the two skills correlate? How does opera singing correlate with PR, right? On the surface, it doesn't. But if you dig deeper, the skills are exactly the same. So I came back to America and I thought, what the heck am I going to do? I literally have no skills outside of singing. I'm not even qualified to run a cash register at McDonald's. I don't know how, you know, I have no skills, but if you want an aria, I got you, you know? So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to start my own business. You know, I'm just going to have to dive all in. So I started with real estate marketing. And why real estate? Because let me tell you a little fun fact. What happens when you can no longer perform anymore? Well, you become a real estate agent.
That too. Yes, that too.
Yes, because it's such a great usage of your personality. You know, real estate agents are so outgoing. You know, they're always on. It's kind of like they have to be that warm, friendly face for people. So a lot of my friends were former performers. They turned real estate agents. So I thought, well, cool. I'm going to start with them. You know, I understand them. I love their personality, and it went really well. In the first,
you know them.
I knew them to start. Of course, as you go, then you're just not knowing them. But it did really well. In the first 9 months of business, we reached 6 figures and no paid ads at all, just organic and PR. Now, mind you, I didn't know it was PR. I just thought it was survival. And then comes the pandemic, right? All the realtors, they're not essential businesses. They go on pause or they cancel. And I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to do? I go back to what I've always done, which is I'm going to get into publications so people start knowing about me. And even during the pandemic, they trust me. Within 60 days, I was a contributor to the #1 real estate publication in the world, asked to be a brand ambassador, and was on virtual stage to over 1,000 realtors. My marketer friends, needless to say, took notice and said, Victoria, how are you doing this? Can you do this for me in my niche? And I thought, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do a beta. I'm going to see how it works, you know, see how it goes, because I really enjoy it. I love meeting people. I love building relationships. That beta went so well. Some of those people are still with me to this day. a year later, they're still with me, still getting PR from me. So I realized that it was my superpower. I love to do it. We scaled to 6 figures in 3 months, and we've already passed the 7-figure month in our first year.
Let's go.
It's been a wild, amazing ride. But one of the things I'm most proud of is, one, I feel like I found my passion, and it took going through all these crazy journeys to find it. And two, and now I'm helping people. I've been in the spotlight my whole life, and now I can shine the spotlight on others. And that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk about why a brand needs PR. Why is public relations a very important piece to a brand's puzzle?
Absolutely. So some agency owners will do a niche that they've never done before, or they've never proven themselves for. For me, I know PR, and I'm so passionate and I'm so good at it because I've had to do it for myself. Every business that I've built, the real estate, 2 6 figures in 9 months, all organic, all PR. My own PR business, I'd say about 5% of the 7 figures is paid ads. Everything else has been word of mouth, just like you, just how you found me through word of mouth, we found each other. I just do good work for my clients. I get into the right publications, and that's how people find out about me. And so this is how I know the power of personal brand, because I've seen it in my own life. So this is why I'm able to do it for my clients. Here's the thing, guys. Your ad account's going to get shut down at some point, right, in time. Pandemics are going to happen. Things are going to happen outside of your control. You may need to switch niches. You may need to pivot. But if you have a strong personal brand, that's the one thing that no one can take away from you. And if there is, heaven forbid, another pandemic tomorrow and you have to start a new business, you'll be just like me, and you can start and people will follow you because they trust you, because you've built your personal brand. Why do you think I was able to go from a brand new niche to 6 figures in 3 months? Because people trusted me and they knew I'd do a good job because of my personal brand. That's why it's so important, guys.
So vital. I'll never forget that. Gary Vaynerchuk told me 11 years ago, Sebastian, your personal brand in perpetuity is your reputation. And I never forgot that. That was some of the most sound advice he'd ever given me. And it still plays out to this day. It's just now it's 2021. And it's like, well, of course we're going to start a personal brand. I've been beating the personal brand drum for a minute now, and I'm glad to see that it is becoming the norm. Not just the norm; it's becoming the norm in the world of PR. It's becoming the norm in the world of talent. You are judged based on your following, your content, and your talent. Before it was a headshot and talent. Step forward if you heard your name. If not, thanks for coming out. So things have changed drastically. Technology's really helped remove some of that friction on here. Has social media made the game of public relations easier, you think? Because before it was all about your black book, right? It was all about who you had in your Rolodex and who you could, the existing relationships that you had and the direct benefit of the publication. Has social eased that process at all?
Social media has definitely helped PR, and I think this is another reason we've been able to scale so quickly, is because I'm on the ground floor. Like I'm a marketer just like everybody else. I have an agency just like everybody else. So I'm not this person in an ivory tower who went to school for PR and must do things by the book. That doesn't work anymore. Guerrilla marketing works, influencer marketing works, getting your hands, being on the ground level, seeing what are people talking about. That is what PR is these days. Influencer marketing, making the right connections. That's what's important. That's what's going to move the needle, And so, yeah, absolutely. Social media has helped. Getting verified on social media is one of the best calling cards you could possibly do. It's like the equivalent of carrying your Academy Award with you everywhere, right? You don't even have to talk about it because it's there. Every time you message somebody, there's that Academy Award blue check mark, And because of the pandemic, everything is online now. So your digital currency, your digital footprint, the fact that you have that check mark is the greatest thing you can do for your personal brand. Getting into magazines like Forbes, Entrepreneur, getting in front of your ideal audience, that's the best thing you can do, because we're not, I'm sorry, but things aren't going back to normal. Things are staying digital and are only going to get more digital. So the faster you can realize this, you're going to be ahead of the game, and it'll be easier to get your personal brand up and going.
So how come you need to have all of those things in place in order to get verified? Do the platforms go out and verify your credibility based on the amount of press you've got?
It's a variety of things. Press is definitely one of them. It's not followers. It's not what you think. It's not followers or how much money you make. Facebook doesn't care about that. They care if you're credible. how many publications have you been in? Have you been in the right publications? There's a lot that goes into the verification process because, like I said, it's like winning an Academy Award. You don't just roll out of bed and get one. Like, there's a lot of work. But if you're working with the right people who know how to do it, you're fine.
I want everybody to make sure the plane lands with that. Do you understand? Being verified on a social media platform is your calling card these days. I know I just probably dated myself by saying calling cards. They still exist, though. They still exist. Being verified is, they both work together, right? You've got a PR strategy on here. If you've been in business for a minute and you're trying to figure out this whole special sauce, listen, no one's coming to save you with your marketing. No one's coming to save you with your advertising and how you communicate and how you create content. It's your responsibility as a brand to make educated decisions on how to go about the right way as you're moving with the times. Getting verified on a social media digital platform. If I would have told you that 15 years ago, you would have looked at me like I had 10 heads and boogers. This day and age, it's the norm. So if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, wait a second, this may be something that we need to take a closer look at. It definitely is. Victoria and I are already off to the races, and I've referred her some business, and I look forward to our relationship continuing to grow. And this is happening for one reason, not because she's willing to pay a referral fee. That has nothing to do with it. I believe in what she's doing, and I believe in the work she's doing based on the credibility that she has and the existing PR she has. You see that? She is a product of the product, very similar to myself. I'm a podcaster that helps people start a podcast.
Yes.
So if you think this is something that or a direction you want to go, hit me up, send me a message. I don't know where you're watching this, or leave a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Send me an email and I'll make a personal introduction to Victoria. I think it's at least worth a conversation for you to better understand what's possible with public relations. So what's next? What are you working on these days? As far as, I know obviously PR, but some exciting stuff. I know you said you'll be in LA in the next couple of weeks here. You were to put a team together for an event. So refreshing to hear events actually happen.
Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, we're putting together a great music event next weekend in Santa Monica at the Proper Hotel on the rooftop. It's a musical duo that is a client of mine, and we have already some top-notch guests who are on the VIP list, like Desmond Child, who wrote "Living on a Prayer." Ever heard of that song?
Absolutely.
Right? So some top A&R people, music executives. It's going to be an incredible event. And that's the great thing about PR. It's all about, networking, relationships. That's why I love what I do, because I work in so many different niches. We work in real estate, mortgage, solar, music, entrepreneurs, and entrepreneur can mean anything. But I always tell people it's like going to a dressmaker. Your dress may be very unique. Maybe you want a purple wedding dress, right? With flames coming out of it, whatever. But you go to the dressmaker because they have the pattern. So it doesn't matter what your niche is, whatever it is, the pattern stays the same, right? That's how we make you the number one authority in your niche.
Make you the number one authority in your niche. If that didn't wake you up for a second, that sounds extremely attractive. You can connect with Victoria through myself. Check her out online too, victoriakennedyofficial.com. You can book a call with her, or I can make a personal introduction to her. I really believe in what you got going on here, Victoria, and I look forward to your success stories continuing. Of, hey, we went from 7 figures to this and to that, and this PR is so hard to dial in and to figure out. And a majority of the time, it's, well, we spend X on PR, and great. What does that yield back? I don't know. So you're investing or have invested into PR before.
Yeah,
the results were, I don't know. Yeah, you definitely need to have a conversation with Victoria.
Yeah, that's a problem. Make sure that you're working with someone who understands it's a brand story, just like you were talking about. It's a story. It's not just, oh, hey, I got you on Forbes. What are you going to do with that? Does that make sense as in part of the story? Like, did you start small? Did you build the story of building your credibility? You're taking your audience on a journey. Don't forget, you're building the credibility in their eyes. It's not just about one random publication or two. It's an entire story you want to bring your entire audience on with you, so they come to see you as that industry leader.
Has podcasting been part of the strategy as far as PR?
Absolutely. Podcasting is huge. If you haven't already, get on yourself on some podcasts. That is such a huge part of strategies. Everybody's listening to podcasts these days. They see that as such a form of credibility and authority. Make that part of your PR strategy. Absolutely.
Do you hear that? You heard that, right? I just want to make sure the plane lands. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm beating this drum constantly, but then it's getting echoed from credible people that are doing great things and impacting people, leaving their business and them different because they're able to implement a strategy that actually works. So if that's you, let me know. Hit me up. I'd be more than happy to introduce you to Victoria so you can have a conversation about what's possible with that. Victoria, I commend all of the efforts your whole journey. I love how you've just lean in is the constant phrase that shows up as you've shared your story. You've continued to show up too. Lean in and show up. There's a tremendous amount of value on the other side of continuing to do that. You're now living in your flow state of passion, which I know there's nothing better than going. I wake up every day and I'm like, I can't believe people compensate me to put a bow tie on and hop on stage and dance, and I have no rhythm. I can't believe this is possible. But 10 years ago, I set out on a mission to say, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to build a personal brand and my brand. I want a long-standing relationship with people, and I want to make a difference. And I want to do that by sharing my talent with the world. So personal branding is here to stay. Public relations is alive and well. So keep doing what you're doing and stay in touch. I look forward to us continuing to further our relationship too. Come back soon sometime, will you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
It most definitely has. And I learned a ton here. Friends, I hope you're leaving this episode learning at least one or two things that you did not know about the wonderful world of public relations. Until next time.